good deeds. Recycle paper, bottles, and plastic items where possible. So, this one, I can say I've been excited about recycling since way back in the day when I was in middle school. We used to have bins inside classrooms designated for recycling. They used to look like sacks. You could throw in there all kinds of paper. I don't think cardboard was permissible in those, but I know that our pieces of paper, scrap paper, construction paper, I would say, paper like that, it could go in that. And I remember that before I truly understood what recycling meant in elementary school, I used to think recycling meant that somehow the item multiplied. So I once donated a piece of paper, blank, fresh, unused paper, and I slipped it in that bin. Years down the line, when I remembered that instance, I thought, oh man, I was so stupid. It is in the word. You are recycling, meaning this thing is coming back, but being repurposed. It could take a different form or it could take its same form again, but it's not like the item is multiplying, duplicating. The amount of material is still the same. I was thinking that somehow the material would expand, would multiply itself. That was a little blooper I had going on. Outside of that, I have been living in places that recycle for the past, I want to say 12-ish years or so. This apartment complex, though, it annoys me that they removed our recycling bins because people were misusing them. You're not supposed to put pizza boxes, for instance, in the cardboard section because, hello, the grease. And other times that recycling of plastic was contaminated with bin juice, that trash juice generated by drinks that had flavor, anything that wasn't water, pretty much. I guess people don't think about rinsing the container out and they just dump it in there. As opposed to having to just outright quit recycling, I always try to take whatever I'm about to finish my consumption of, say, if I'm drinking something out of a can, if I'm drinking something out of a bottle, if I'm getting ready to toss some papers, I bring them with me to work and then I will recycle them at work because at least I have access to recycle bins over there that are actually being monitored and they're going to be properly handled. But outside of that, at home, sometimes I can't help it. And because there isn't bins designated for that anymore, then on certain days when I don't go out, they have to go in the trash because I cannot just hold trash here hostage in the name of waiting to recycle. And I'm not about to drive somewhere just for that when I'm not supposed to go out for the day. I don't have any plans of going out usually when I'm on my days off. So I gotta consider that too. What kind of waste do I want to produce? Do I want to risk my life by driving with this crazy ass traffic, also polluting the air, or do I want to toss this into the landfill and hopefully they can manage it properly, incinerating it or whatever happens to this? I think recycling sometimes doesn't work the way we want it to because I know that in the past it's been called to question pretty much, and it turns out that many of the items that we try to recycle end up not being recycled. But to that, I always thought I would rather we recycle a little bit than not recycling at all. Because what would the state of trash and the environment look like if we never ever got to recycle? I think it's still a problem, but at least it's not as bad as it could be. And hopefully it doesn't get there. See what I mean? So yeah, you guys, recycling. If you knew me some 15 years ago, I would have chewed you out if I saw you discarding your items improperly, like putting plastic in trash bins. I was that kid who I would try to get gloves or paper or a bag or something and scoop stuff out of the trash. And the way back in the day when I was in school, I remember teachers would also call out people who were tossing their recyclables into the trash, especially science teachers. They were pretty eagle eyed about that. And I remember one guy who tried to throw away a bottle into a trash can, and then my teacher called him out. And then he tried to put the bottle in the sack for recycling paper. And then my teacher, not even looking at him, was like, I hope you're not trying to put it inside the paper bin. And then he was like looking around, going like, trying to figure out what to do. So ultimately, my teacher had him hold it until we had to go out for a reason onto the hallways. And the hallway is where the recyclables for bottles were. Back in the good old days, the recycling bins had the shape of an actual bottle, and I always thought that was pretty neat because it made them easy to see. And I feel like it invited people to use them because the shape of it was so cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to my experience and relationship with recycling. I wish it was something more accessible and practical for everybody, especially in residential areas, but I guess when the bins get contaminated by items that are not supposed to be there, it's pretty costly. I guess in an effort to avoid the fines, the landlords or companies in general prefer to not go through it and eliminate the program altogether rather than dealing with the penalties, which I understand. I am not pro companies at all, but if it were me, if I were the one getting the fine because I cannot spend my day monitoring how people discard things because they don't fucking read or do their work of decontaminating something, I would want to eliminate it too. Well, there you guys have it. That's it from me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on recycling. What do you know about it? Do you do it often or do you not care? I'm no longer obsessed about it like I was when I was a kid, because as a kid, I always felt like I'm no evil. I got the means to destroy evil. But now that I'm grown, I understand the practicalities and nuances of things and why some shit just doesn't work. Bye.